like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. I think it's fair to say that the world is not in the best state, right? Right now, where's the world? Not doing so well. We got, famine, war, inflation, energy prices. Energy prices in the UK are up 50%. Gas prices in America are going through the roof. Yeah, it's not a good time for anybody. No one's having a really good time. Actually, it's because of all that, I think the age of wokeness is nearly over, right? Because I think this is the point when the normies say, shut up! Just shut up! Leave us alone! And it seems to be that genre seems to be responding. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds being described, and very accurately, as if Star Trek had a stroke and it's relearning how to do things, like relearning how to walk, relearning how to speak. So that's why it's very basic. It's very simple, but it's not progressive. It's not like ramming an idea, an ideology down your throat, which is what Star Trek has been doing for God knows how long. But generally speaking, we're not really in the best of states. So how do we get here, right? How do we get into this state? And it's basically because people really hate being wrong. People really absolutely detest being wrong, and they will never ever admit they're wrong, and they won't admit it to themselves. They won't admit to any other people. I think people would rather die than admit they're wrong, which seems weird to me, right? It seems weird to me because who hasn't been wrong? Like, this is actually an example of being a Bible thumper actually works out well for you. Actually works out well for your personal what's the word I'm looking for? Your personal approach to your life and where you identify yourself. Because, like, if you look at anybody in the Bible, in the Old Testament, they've all done things that are wrong. They've all screwed up, and everybody's made mistakes, right? And if those are the heroes we're supposed to aspire to, which is essentially why we have stories and why we like stories, it's that archetype. It's okay to be wrong, right? It's totally okay to be wrong. But no, people absolutely hate being wrong. They hate it in every way, shape, or form, and they will never admit it. The people who hate being wrong the absolute most are the intelligentsia, the artistic elites, right? People who think they are clever. People who think they are clever, they hate being wrong. And so why is the world in the state that's in right now? It's because they were wrong, right? They had an idea of what the perfect government would be, and how things would be fantastic. And essentially, that was Barack Obama, right? Barack Obama was their idea of perfection. It can't get any better than this. And he was a disaster, right? Complete disaster in so many ways. And then came Donald Trump, who is everything they hate, right? Everything they hate. He's uncouth. He's common, right? I mean, from being very, very rich, but it's all the gold. It's all they hate all of that. They can't stand that. Intelligentsia, academics, and so they want him to be wrong. But he was right. I mean, like, bottom line, and wherever you're on politics, who cares, right? Just basically, his governance was very, very good. So they hated being wrong, and so we got Joe Biden, and now we're seeing quite how wrong they are, right? But the world is essentially falling apart because people cannot stand being wrong. So what's that got to do with Doctor Who? What's that preamble got to do with Doctor Who? Well, that's where this article comes from. We're going to read an article from The Guardian. Always a mistake. Well, actually, always a good idea if you want to laugh. If you want to laugh at people who think they're clever, overeducated idiots are saying that is really ruining reality. And it goes, there's not one political side, rather. Overeducated idiots are everywhere, and they are very, very, very destructive, right? Very, very destructive indeed. So these overeducated idiots, they love Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. Not because it was any good. No, it was actually objectionably awful. It was so bad. It's so shockingly bad. I'm doing a review of an episode tomorrow night, and I'm like, oh, I'm tensing up with fear of having to go through the turgid mess that is Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. And it's absolute garbage. I mean, it's unprofessional, to say the least. So But the intelligentsia, the guardians, it's so stunning and brave. We're breaking the glass ceiling. We're so progressive. Society's doing so well. Well, see, we're not like the evil Donald Trump. Me too, me too. And it's this, whatever. It's, and they were wrong, right? They hated being wrong. So now they're in a bit of a pickle, right? Because Ralph D. Davis come back, and we've noticed what it's like to be excited about Doctor Who. We notice what good entertainment is again. I understand a lot of people are very skittish about what they're going to do with this this actress. I'm not sure what. Honestly, that's the hardest thing. A trans actress. What's the right pronoun? Is it actor or actress? Right? Because biological females wanted to be called actor recently, and now Yasmin is a trans woman. I got to say the right. It's so stressful getting the right wording down, right? And now that she wants to be an actress, so a lot of people are very skittish about that. I think just wait and see. Just wait and see what there's going to be. Look, listen, wherever you are on the whole trans debate, which I'm not, YouTube is not a debate. You're right about everything, because if I don't tell them that, they get very upset. Wherever you are in this discussion, trans people are a reality in 2022 Western world, right? It's the thing, right? And I think if they have a trans character in Doctor Who, it's just the thing. I mean, it doesn't seem any more jarring than having Captain Jack in the 2005 series, right? To me, anyway. If you want to say, oh, look, this is a clear sign there's going to be lots of agenderizing, we don't know. If that's what you think, you could be right, I could be wrong. I don't know. See, did you just hear me say, I could be wrong? It's not so terrible, right? It's not so terrible to be wrong. But as I say, they're in a bit of a pickle, these people, because they said Jodie Whittaker the best as ever, and it wasn't. It failed so hard. And it's still failing, right? So then Rusty Davis came back, and we've experienced what it's like to be excited about entertainment. It's very similar comparing Spider-Man No Way Home to anything else in the MCU Phase 4, right? Spider-Man No Way Home, we all loved it. And it was genuinely it's not we all loved it, the normies loved it, right? Because it wasn't filled with telling you that whatever identity thing that is important to the progressive intelligentsia of the world, the academia in that minute, it wasn't full of that. It was just Spider-Man swinging around, going with bad guys, and it was fun. It was fun. Doctor Strange came out recently. I haven't seen it yet. Although Disney Plus is coming to Israel in a couple of weeks. I will watch it on Disney Plus. Doctor Strange came out, it lost 82% of its audience over the first week. That is the difference between something being genuinely popular and something being told that is popular. So if you're told it's popular, people aren't putting their money into it. People aren't running to the cinema to see it, right? Same thing, we saw the location film last week, and we saw what it is for genuine popularity. So this is a bit of a pickle, as I said, for the academia intelligentsia who said it's the best as ever! Best as ever, right? Because they're now seeing it not. So now their new tack in this article is to take something that we all pretty much like, the Paul McGann TV movie, not the greatest Doctor Who, not the worst, a lot to recommend it, and say, oh no, all the fans hate it. No, we don't, right? And the reason this article exists is there a smokescreen for Jodie. See, look, Doctor Who fans didn't like the 8th Doctor, they don't like the 13th. It doesn't matter what they say. Because most people haven't seen Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. Why haven't they seen Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who? They also haven't seen Paul McGann's Doctor Who. Why haven't they seen it? Because nobody wants to watch it, because it's boring dour pap. Like everybody that is genuinely reviled and hated, right? Apart from the clever people. The clever people in academia. So anyway, we're going to be reading the article, and we are going to be taking the piss out. I think we set forward our, what we're going to be doing. Fine, before we get into it, can you hit the like button? That'll be Fandom and Dubby Dozy. Can you hit the share button? Oh, YouTube likes the share button. They decided that they're up for that now. Hit that share button, baby. I don't care where you share it. Just share away. If you're on Rumble, hit the Rumble button and subscribe. I've only got about 60 subscribers on Rumble. I really should try and build that up. I don't know how, though. right? But one way is if the good Lord decides to smite Google, right, and everybody moves over to Rumble, that would do good for me, right? That would do good for me. Like, share, subscribe. So, I like that I'm giving instructions to you people watching the video and to God Himself, right? Listen. The instructions for God Himself, that's optional. Like, share, subscribe, comment, sign up to my Substack. If you ever see me not posting content, it means I've been banned. YouTube doesn't like me talking about things I believe in. So I'm not going to do that very openly, but I sometimes let it slip out, she cried. So like, share, subscribe, comment, sign up my Substack, which will keep you up to date on that's my email newsletter, lets you know what content's going out, and I also give out bonuses on it. I've realized I haven't been doing that because I had my life has been stolen somewhat by this series I've been doing for the last we're on day 37 today, right? So it's only got another 2 weeks to go, and so then I think I can start focusing on sending out content to both the paid and the free Substack. The paid one is so embarrassing. What can you do? Like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack. Let's get into this article. Let's get an article by Martin Bellum. Martin Bellum looks like one of the artistic intelligentsia academia, right? One of the people who has egg all over his face because he said Jodie Whittaker, best as ever. Absolutely. The best as ever. Anybody who doesn't like them must be a bigot. Has to be, right? It always amazes me when people, people like Christopher Eccleston or Conor Megg say, "Oh, Jodie Whittaker's so good." So really, they've never seen it, right? They never. I would love to. Okay, this is how you can get me to buy Jodie Whittaker DVDs and Blu-rays, right? Give me a Christopher Eccleston and Colin Baker voice that like watch along with it, right? And I want them to, and actually a real moderator said, "What do you think about acting choice? Do you think that worked?" And like be able to point out everything that's wrong going on. Like, do you really think she's been able to sell it right there? I think she's authoritative. Whoa, yeah. I would love to actually have them justify. They're like, do you really think this is good acting? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Yeah, I would buy that. But they're never going to do that. Maybe in a couple of years when we're able to say, "Oh, this was awful," right? And it's just we are able to like finally admit, "Oh, it was awful," and the people who kept screaming at us that it was good were also awful, right? It was just horrible. Anyway. Hanky Panky and the Tardis, how a writer's divisive Doctor Who movie spent 25 years being hated by fans. What utter bullshit! I'm sorry, no, it's not hated by fans. We were a bit shocked at the kiss, which seems very, very mild now, doesn't it? We were a bit shocked, but yeah, Paul McGann was a great Doctor. Best console room ever. I like Eric Roberts' Master. It was a bit light, right? It was a bit introducing it to a new audience, but I liked Sylvester McCoy in it. There's a lot I liked about it. It was much better than it was bad. There was much more good than there was bad in the TV movie. So this is just utter bullshit that's designed to make it appear that Jodie isn't the massive failure that she is. And why is this appearing in a national newspaper? Because Martin Bellum doesn't want to be wrong. You were wrong, mate. You're wrong about this. You're wrong about Jodie. You're just wrong, right? I know it stings. Right, I know you think you're the clever person, right? You've been educated, you've been super edumacated, right? Oh, you're so clever. Nah, you're a schmuck. I'm sorry, you're a moron. You're an overeducated moron. And that you surround yourself with other educated morons is an indication that you can't deal with anybody smarter than you. The 96 TV movie, possibly the Time Lord's most controversial on-screen outing. No, that would be The Timeless Children, right? Okay. A heartwarming new documentary follows the writer as he visits conventions full of die-hard fans who criticize him for decades. Okay. Actually, I'm quite interested in this documentary now. I've written lots of things that I've happily forgotten about, or I've been remembered fondly, or that have been remembered fondly, says Matthew Jacobs. But the Doctor Who movie is very much like a tattoo that won't go away. Well, Doctor Who is. I mean, listen, it was very important to a lot of people, right? And again, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I've been a Doctor Who fan for decades, like since I was a kid. I lived through the movie, right? It was a big okay. My experience with the movie was I got married about a month or two, I think 2 months after it aired, and I was in America for the I just missed it, right? So I had to try and get a copy of it sent over from the UK. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. But I was happy to see it, right? I was happy to see it. What's it like to make one sizable contribution to a much-loved franchise and then everybody hates it? Again, this is just apologetics for Chibnall. No, everybody hates it. Yeah, it's utter nonsense. And it was 2 decades later to turn up at a convention for the very first time, only if I still want to tell you how much they hated it. The premise of what turns out to be a surprisingly uplifting new documentary about fandom and family called Doctor Who I Am from Jacobs and Vanessa Uiul. Yeah, how you pronounce the name. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. I had distanced myself from fans, says Jacob, whose other credits include The Emperor's New Groove and The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. It was Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, I believe, wasn't it? That didn't really excel itself. But on the Doctor Who's 50th anniversary, everyone started getting interested in me again. I didn't initially want to go to a convention in Florida. I said, there'll be some alligators and Doctor Who fans. Look, Doctor Who fans are an unforgiving audience, right? They are an unforgiving, merciless audience. However, you've also a great potential for a... How do you pronounce the name, do you think? I have no idea. I'm going to say Uville, even though there's no V in it, just easier to pronounce. Yeah, I mean, I feel wrong there. Yili? Maybe? I don't know. Sorry, a great potential documentary. Matthew thought I was going to be, this was going to be about Faz, but I knew it was going to be about him. Judy Gatway, maybe the 14th Doctor, back in the 90s, Paul McGann was the future of the Doctor. Yeah, people loved him, right? People absolutely loved the Paul McGann Doctor. I look at all this promo stuff they did at the time. It was great, right? It was great. And it did very well in England, right? It did very, very well in England. According to the Radio Times. What wasn't the tagline, he's back and it's about bloody time? Or was that when he came to Big Finish? I can't remember. Coming 7 years after the original run of Doctor Who had ended, the movie remains McGann's only major screen outing in the role. Despite getting over 9 million viewers in the UK, Jacob's script didn't spark the hope for a new series, and spent the years being perceived as a failure. No, I don't think it was perceived as a failure, right? Yeah, listen, it got screwed by Fox, right? Fox already had Sliders. They felt Doctor Who was a very similar show. It was an expensive show to make. They couldn't really agree on the format. BBC wanted to do it like Inspector Morse. So it was like a series of 6 90-minute TV movies a year. Like that's essentially what they wanted. The America wanted something different. It was shown. It was up against the episode of Roseanne where Dan has a heart attack. Where John Goodman had a heart attack. It didn't do very well, right? It didn't do well enough in the States to get to get Sliders cancelled, which is basically what it had to. What I always wanted to do that, and it's really worth finding it. The series Bible. For the McGann series. I wish Big Finish would make a box set of what a Paul McGann 90s TV show would have been like, right? It would do it 42 minutes long, have a teaser, and you have 4 ad breaks, and so it builds to little cliffhangers every 7 to 12 minutes. Yeah, have it very rigidly in that US TV format. I would love that, right? I would love it. And then do the stuff that was in the Bible, the Cybes, which is essentially a new take on the Cybermen and Daleks that opened up that looked like... we eventually saw them in Doctor Who magazine, and I think it was one of the first Paul McGann comic strips. Anyway... one significant reason that he had made changes to the very fabric Doctor Who, McGann had kissed his companion. I remember it was a big hoo-ha at the time, right? But it wasn't, right? It was a kind of innocent kiss, like, yeah, it wasn't like, Captain Jack kissing the Doctor in Parting of the Ways, right? I didn't get the feeling that some tongue was coming, right? It was very innocent, right? And it was right after. Yeah, that feels so romantic. He put the shoes on. These shoes are perfect. Yeah, I loved all that, right? I loved all that. It said the sky was dancing with a million. It was wonderful. It was really a very romantic moment, and actually, I think that worked in the movie. You know, I think it made. I think Doctor Who worked as a dashing romantic hero, which is something that we've really only seen since the 90s, right? I mean, Eccleston slightly less so, but McGann certainly was. David Tennant was. Matt Smith 100% was a very a dishy, dashing, romantic hero. Not so much Jodie Whittaker. I never thought was it Capaldi was, but every woman who watches my channel says he's super sexy, right? So okay, yeah, I don't have much of a straight dar, I guess. I'm not sure what the word would be. You have this was it incipient romantic aspect of the Doctor really coming to the fore with Paul's Doctor, says Jacob. It didn't matter how short the companion skirts were in the 60s. The rule was no hanky-panky in Tardis. No, that rule came from the 80s from John Nathan Turner when you had a younger Doctor, Peter Davison, and Nyssa and Tegan got covered from like their neck to the to the bottom of their toes with like clothes, right up until this next year when they realised that it wasn't going on, and the dads liked that to look at. So Tegan got the boob tube. What did Nyssa end up wearing? I don't know. It's all obscured by Perry. Everything is always obscured by Perry in my mind. If you could see a map of my psyche, it's like 83% Perry, everything else. Like everything else in my life. That's what it fits that 17%. In the 60s. No Hanky Bang and Tardis had lasted for 3 decades until Jacob's script began suddenly snogging Dr. Grace Holloway, paid by it wasn't a snog. I'm sorry, it wasn't a snog, and fans didn't mind. I'm sorry, it just you're making this all up. Nothing of what you're saying is real at all, right? Even worse for some. Again, I love how he's painting fans like this. This is such a lie. Even worse, for some fans, the Doctor unexpectedly revealed in 1996 he was half human on his mother's side. Yeah, and it was forgotten instantly, right? Just like Jodie was going to be. But it was forgotten instantly. It was kind of described as saying it was just for that regeneration. It was like, but whatever. During the documentary, the executive producer of the movie, Philip Siegel, talks about going to a convention and being practically assaulted by a fan who was furious about the movie. What year was that? Okay. Again, I think this is just designed to make fans look bad. Why does he want to make fans look bad? Because he was wrong, right? He's an educated person who thinks he's a smarty who was wrong. You're not. You're a moron. Well, it makes much more sense to say, you know what? All that stuff about Jodie Whittaker, I was just wrong, right? I was just wrong. That's okay. I could be wrong. No. Another sequence shows a group of fans horrified as Jacob tries to explain the reasoning behind it. As something that I can understand if this was pre-2005, but like, what percentage of fandom is New Who only? I think a large percentage, right? I think, who knows, 60%, right? Who the only Doctor Who they've ever known has had a romantic Doctor in it, right? Who sometimes kisses. The majority of fandom is fine with this, right? Just like the majority of fandom hated Jodie Whittaker. So you, Martin Bellum, you're wrong. You were wrong. Like you were wrong about Obama. Like you're wrong about Trump. Like you're wrong about Biden. And all you being wrong has just caused disaster and misery. And I know you don't like being wrong, but you were wrong, right? You were wrong. And I can see him go, well, of course, he's just a silly little oik. He's not educated like me. He doesn't understand that I'm right and he's wrong. Dude, you're objectively wrong, schmucko, okay? Objectively wrong. Horrified as another thing that shows a group of fans horrified as Jacob tries to find the reason behind it as something that was expressed the Doctor's affinity with the humanity and would appeal to a US television executive. They are not convinced. It's usually the older fans. If we met them, had a visceral reaction, said whatever her name, his or her name, Yuli, right? It's us, right? If you're watching this, it's you he's talking about, 100%. The TV movie did succeed in introducing US fans to the show, and one of the joys of the new documentary is meeting some of the more enthusiastic cosplayers in American convention. Yeah, listen, Doctor Who is very popular. Paul McGann's Doctor is very popular. Do you know when Big Finish started audios with Paul McGann, nobody went, "Oh no, more of that snogging twat"? No, nobody said that. Not one person ever. The TV did succeed with US fans to the show, and one of the joys of the new is meeting the cosplayers in the American convention scene on camera. They share stories about how Doctor Who has comforted them through grief and loss, or made some of their relationships stronger. Yeah, look, listen, and it's not just Doctor Who is brilliant, and Doctor Who is brilliant. It absolutely is brilliant. But one of the reasons I absolutely adore Love and Monsters, which is an episode that so many people hate. I'm sure many of you watching it, right, absolutely hate it. It's what Russell T Davies does better. Something I personally love. I mean, it goes way beyond Doctor Who, but I love the way that people find each other and connect these bonds that I love. Like people make families, right? And we kind of have that in fandom, right? And we had this very toxic part of fandom during the Whittaker years. But we really had that part in fandom where people did get married, right? We did have that bond. It was lovely, right? It was really, really lovely. And you get that in all fandoms, right? And I'm really hoping like this toxic fandom that has gone through every facet of fandom is melting away and leaving. I'm really hopeful that it is. Jacob thinks that the writers and actors that go to conventions, they always think of it as just for the fans' benefit, but find they're being brought into a family themselves. Yes, Jacob ends up on screen wearing props and trying on monster costumes as enthusiastically detail how much time they've invested making them. As people tell you how much time they invested making them, his reluctance to embrace fandom gradually diminishes. Yes! And you know why? It's not because we're especially great, but people are great, right? People are great, and people are great being happy and loving something and buzzing with enthusiasm, and that's what fandom used to be. And I'm hoping it's what fandom's going to be again, right? The once and future fandom. Watching the 1996 movie again in 22, it's striking how much the first half hour feels like a US medical procedure rather than a relaunch of first half hour. Well, you got the Sylvester McCoy bit. And yeah, he has gone down. It is very mainstream American, right? I quite liked it, right? I would love to see a US take on Doctor Who. Rather than read on sci-fi fantasy, so its structure is flawed. Given the seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, a regeneration send-off was a nice continuity touch, but it ends up eating a third of the film's runtime. But I think what it does, I like the idea of introducing a Doctor to a new audience and regenerating them, right? When they're talking about Doctor Who making a Doctor Who movies in the 90s, it was always a Doctor. There was going to have one Doctor in the first few scenes and be regenerated. I think, who was it? The guy who did Event Horizon was going to have Lawrence Fishburne as either the first or second Doctor in the movie, which I thought was quite an interesting idea. This was before was it before the Matrix? I think it was before the Matrix. Where are we up to? But as the BBC gears up to celebrate Doctor's 6th anniversary next year, the Doctor Who film, TV film, looks less like a full-on coda to the 63-89 series and more like a springboard between the classic and modern eras. The same is absolutely true of Survival, right? Russell, a great idea is to take the original footage of Survival, add new effects in it, re-edit it to a widescreen, give it a new title sequence. It will flow perfect, seamlessly. It'll get 9 million viewers. High production values and theme rearranged with the orchestra, which was lovely. I love that. And the revelation of a mysterious new secret about the Doctor's past seemed nothing unusual in the 21st century Doctor Who. The brief kiss between between McGann's Doctor and companions are relatively chaste compared to David Tennant's 10th Doctor marrying Queen Elizabeth and Matt Smith's Doctor very own time traveler's wife in the form of River Song. And you know, what do you think the Doctor was going to say to Rosa Badwolf Bay when he was burning up a star to say goodbye? Of course, he was going to say "I love you," right? You listen to the commentary on that, and please, Russell, are we going to get the commentaries back? I love the commentaries. They used to put them out as podcasts after each show, right? In the commentary, you have Julie Gard, you have Phil Connelson, and you have Rusty Davis, and they argue about what they were going to say. And Julie Gardner says, "Of course, he was going to say I love you to Rose. Of course." Yeah, I'm a big softie. What do you want out of me? I kind of liked it. Despite being made as a one-off, McGann is no Lazenby among the Doctors. Well, that's what was his line. He said, "Am I going to be the George Lazenby of Doctor Who?" The film set in motion a whole range of off-screen continuations in books and comics, and McGann has gone on to embed himself in a much-loved part of the franchise. Well, what about Big Finish? That's got to be his biggest contribution. His enthusiastic portrayal of the character, trying to recover his identity remains the highlight of the movie. And his Doctor now has over 2 decades, more than 100 stories behind him on audio. Yeah, and then they're mainly good. Eddie Robertson, who wrote Radio 4's "Welcome to Our Village, please evade carefully." I've never heard of that. I will give that a try. Recently wrote that McGann's continuing Doctor Who audio ventures, and wrote for McGann's continuing audio ventures, and says, well, he's written for it all the way through. He's not a new writer to the range. Paul has a nice sort of spontaneity as an actor. He's always making a line that's written on the page sound like it's saying that come off his head. Yeah, I do like that, right? I do like. I think it's one of his most doctory bits. Is one of his most uniquely doctory bits in the TV movie was the bit where he's trying to talk the guy into letting him get to the clock. Look, the plot was just a bit dumb, right? Come here. Like, do you remember he was from England, and he's like, oh, can I come and sit? No, you can't sit, and you have to sneak in. But I like that. The bit he kind of tap danced that was really, really nice. First thing that comes over here, it's fun to run with that. He thrives off snappy, short bits of dialogue. When McGann appears at the convention in the documentary, Jacob says he was like witnessing people waiting to see the Pope. Yeah, McGann eventually reprised his role on the TV, especially shot for iPlayer minisode as part of the 50th anniversary celebrations. Expect a lot of that stuff, right? Expect a lot of that. It's difficult with hindsight to recapture just how much excitement there was about the Doctor Who returning in '96. It was huge, right? It was only overshadowed by me getting married, right? It was absolutely huge. That was back in the days when you were excited to watch the X-Files and Babylon 5. And occasionally a bit of Red Dwarf, although it was a bit ropey in the 90s. In a very different media landscape, the movie was available to buy on VHS prior to being screened on UK. Yeah, Robson recalls bunking off school to get it. I was apoplectic to get it. A friend of mine was also a fan. We nipped out of school, went to HMV and bought it, and went to his house and watched it, and then came back to school. I felt very positive about it. But we all did, right? We all did. Everybody liked it, right? It went down well. It was very opposite to Jodie Whittaker, right? Very similar to what's going on now. There was a sense of really wanting to like it and really wanting it to be good and to work and to lead to something. That was true. It was a bittersweet experience for Sophie Aldred, who played the popular companion Ace alongside Sylvester McCoy's Doctor, as the storyline seemingly signaled the end of her tenure on the show. Well, it was 7 years. What? It was amazing. Sylvester McCoy was in it. Sophie Aldred never in a million years had any. Was she even acting then? I mean, I think she'd quit acting by then, hasn't she? I thought she was married and having kids by that point. I think that's what's going on in her life. Signal the end of her tenure on the show, although she will reprise a role late this year. I don't see this as being Ace. I'm sorry. I don't see this being a Tika. And my God, Tika does not look good in that picture. Whatever. I just don't think of this era of Doctor Who as being Doctor Who. I just don't. That's me for you. All right. I absolutely love love the TARDIS in that. I absolutely love the TARDIS in that. I thought, yes, that's what we'd done if we had the budget. The TARDIS was gorgeous. It's by far my favorite TARDIS interior. Right. That's that. I thought yes, that's what we would have done if we had the budget. I think it was really quite modern. Well, the idea of the time rotor is that okay. There's always been an argument. What's the time rotor? Is this a little doodad on the console? Or is it the bit that goes up and down? Right. Listen, in my teenage fan fiction, Perry and the Time Rotor of Love, it was the thing that goes up and down. Let's say no more. But what was it? Mike Tucker. Mike Tucker had designed a new console room where the time rotor did come from the top, right? And there was no pedestal that the control was hiding under. When they did a Doctor Who night in the early 90s, I think they built a model of it, and through CSO, remember, lovely colours, a bit of colour separation overlay, a bit of chroma key for you. Sylvester McCoy was inside it. It looked great, right? It looked great, but that was the way things were going at the time. I think it was really quite modern. A young, handsome Doctor who kissed a companion. It was a precursor to the future, but in a way too early. I know. I think it fitted really quite nicely, quite frankly. As the Doctor Who Am I documentary unfolds, it becomes clear that the writing of this movie isn't Jacob's only connection to Doctor Who, to Who. His father, Atlee Jacobs, was starred as Doc Holliday in the 1960s. Oh, I remember hearing that, yes. Doctor Who's set in the Wild West. I'll try and find the link to it. I did a video about a year or so ago. Did a couple of them where I was going through the different Doctor Who's that weren't made in the 90s. And it had John Sessions' audition and Tony Slatter's audition for this production, which was they did well with Getting McGann, right? Although they wanted this guy Harry Gorkum apparently, but then who was it? Alan Yentop, who was the Director General at the time, said it needed somebody like a named actor. And I think he's correct. I do think he's correct. It's in the 60s, who set the story in the Wild West. And as Jacob began to open up about his difficult relationship with his parents, the documentary bends towards a journey of discovery. I wish I knew how to pronounce this woman's name. I'm going to try again. Ewell. Let's try Ewell. Ewell says it made sense to have the documentary explore who Jacobs was, and he was unpacking his past from moving from one city to the next, sort of like a rebirth or a regeneration himself. In parallel with the journey taken by McGann's Doctor in film. I'm looking forward to this, right? I want to see this documentary. And has there been a good Blu-ray release? I don't think so. I mean, there's been a Blu-ray, so I don't think it's been a particularly good transfer. And their own verdict on the TV movie now in 2022. I think it's fun. It is fun. It has a lot of energy. It does. It really does. I didn't see what the big deal was about the kiss. Well, you should have seen, okay? And I thought Paul was wonderful. Says you will. But if you weren't around, you won't get what the big deal was, right? I always stand by it, says Jacob. I'm not ashamed of it anyway. So wait a minute. The premise of this article was fans hate the McGann movie, right? All the way through it, right? All the way through it said, oh, fans love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. Yes, we love it. And yeah, the reason it doesn't pass the Smith the Smith test. I don't know what the Smith test is, but you want to be careful with it. The reason this doesn't pass the sniff test because it's bullcrap. I mean, I'm sorry. This was this guy Matthew, or was it Martin Bellum, not wanting to feel like a schmuck. I'm sorry, mate. Okay? I understand you don't want to feel like you're a schmuck. I understand you don't want to feel like you've been wrong. So your approach is to say Doctor Who fans are stupid, knuckle dragon, idiots, badly, right? So that's where you're going with this. May I suggest, and this is just a wacky suggestion, you can decide if you want to take it yourself. If you don't like Palmy pointing out that you are a overeducated dunce who is wrong, have you ever considered not being an overeducated dunce who is frequently wrong? Have you ever considered that? Because that might actually help you out quite a bit more. I don't know. So Doctor Who I Am will premiere at Sci-Fi Film Festival on May 21st. I wonder if I can get a copy of it. Doctor Who returns to BBC One late this year. Okay, I have to try and find out how to get if I can find out how to get this documentary, I will watch it and I will do a review of it. I'm excited to see it, right? I am genuinely excited to see it. So, what was really a puff piece about advertising this documentary, probably for a mate of his, was turned into a hit piece on us in fandom. Why is it turned into a hit piece on us in fandom? Because this bloke, Martin Bellum, let me see if I can get a bigger picture of him. I'm going to click on it. Really just doesn't like being wrong, right? Really, won't zoom in. Never mind. Really just doesn't like being wrong, right? Oh, look at that. So you're reporting on the Ukraine crisis live. How was that caused? Oh, right, because Donald Trump wasn't president, right? Because you were wrong. Misery, death, destruction. I guess, having a bunch of idiots take a shit on Doctor Who for about 5 years and toxic fandom screamingly calling everybody an ist and a foe who doesn't say that this utter garbage is very good. I understand. It's not that bad in comparison to the death and tragedy in Ukraine, which you also caused. Why? Why did you cause it? Because you're a schmuck, or as I like to say, you're an overeducated idiot who cannot deal with being wrong. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.